And then let's see. Yeah, the participant is still coming according to the our registration data. It's more than around 200 participants registered. Yeah. Okay. Let's just start this activity, and then, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say, more than hold on. 200 participants registered. For preparation, would you like all the participants to mute your microphone, and then whether you have questions, comments, you might use chat room. Ya, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, allow me to rename in the Zoom name. Welcome to the Knowledge and Innovation Exchange Series, or KIX series, and we have a big topic that is about school and learning improvement for all, experience from Asia Africa education or dialogues. Here in this Zoom room, we have two speakers, and also we have participants from Indonesia, Malaysia. I believe some of the students from Sensei in Japan also attending this KIX webinar. We have two speakers here. The first one is Associate Professor Tatsuya Kusakabe, PhD from the SAIS, the Center of Study for International Cooperation in Education, Hiroshima University, and also Arif Hidayat from UP. And I would like to pledge our activities. Hold on, it seems some participants still talking during the session. And then the activities, first of all, is about opening, and the second one is a short speech from the Professor Semar Hindayana, acting as President of Indonesia Association of Lesson Study. And then it will be followed by the presentation. The first presenters is Professor Tatsuya Kusakabe. He will spend mostly or at most about 45 minutes. And then it will be followed by the second speaker. The dialogue session or question and answer will be held after two speakers completed their presentation. But participants, you are most welcome to put your questions, dialogue, and comments in the chat room. And this dialogue or comments will be discussed during question and answers. And then I think I'm now in the double casting as the moderator and also as the second speaker. Without further ado, I would like to please opening speech from the President of Indonesia Association of Lesson Study, Professor Semar Hindayana. To the Professor Semar Hindayana, you are most welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Arif. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Welcome to the Knowledge and Innovation Exchange Series. This is will be two speakers for this webinar today. Yeah. And I would like to welcome Professor Kusakabe from Hiroshima University, from SAIS, Center of International Studies for Cooperation in Education. Yeah. We have working with Professor Kusakabe for many years in Asia Africa Dialogue. Yeah. So in the Asia Africa Dialogue consists of, I think, about 30 universities in Asia and Africa. And UPI is one of the members of the Asia-Africa Dialogue Network. Yeah. Professor Kusakabe is acting as in Hiroshima as secretary of the Asia-Africa Dialogue. So in Asia-Africa Dialogue, we focus on how to promote education quality.
Mohon maaf Pak, mute suaranya Pak.
Pak Semar,
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry, Pak Arif.
Yeah, we missed some of your speech.
Yeah, I
like
didn't realize that the microphone mute automatically. I don't know what happened. Yeah, sorry. I just repeat some part of that. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, yeah, I would like to thank you, Professor Kusakabe, for joining this meeting and give us, share experience in education, especially for Asia and Africa. Yeah. And also, I would like to congratulate Professor Kusakabe for UPI Award. So last week, Professor Kusakabe got UPI Award. Okay, because his role in supporting UPI activity in Asia Africa is very excellent. So once again, thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Indonesia Association of Pleasant Study, yeah, I would like to welcome all of you, and I hope you got the inspiration from this webinar. So thank you very much. Please enjoy this webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much to the Professor Sumar Hendayana on behalf of Indonesia Association of Lesson Study for opening speech. And then as the participant is getting grown up, now it's about 180 participants. And then we might jump up to the first session, first speaker. That is Professor Tatsuya Kusakabe. Briefly, for his short CV, actually you can find it online through the website of the Hiroshima University. He graduated his PhD in education. Participants, would you kindly to mute your voice in order to have this webinar can be implemented successfully. Yeah, back to the short CV of the Professor Kusakabe. He graduated a PhD in Japan, and then now he's one of the leader in the SAIS Center of the Study International Cooperation in Education, Hiroshima University. He has experienced more than 20 years in international education, Islamic education of madrasa, and also including in lesson study. As mentioned by the Professor Sumar, Kusakabe Sensei, that's usually I called him, awarded UPI Awards, and this is first time of Japanese scholars who awarded UPI Award in 2021. Congratulations again, Sensei. And then Professor Kusakabe will spend at most about 45 minutes for the presentation, and then it will be continued with the second speaker. And then Professor Kusakabe or Kusakabe Sensei, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much, Arif Sensei and Sumar Sensei. They are my close friend, so I don't say just a very like a ceremonial greeting. Just if as business as usual, I'd like to say thank you very much, and also the assalamu alaikum. So just
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. So just I because we meet regularly in every year, and also or 2 times, even 3 times. I go also, or Sumaru Sensei, Arif Sensei come back to Hiroshima, and then they always visit our center. So just between Hiroshima University and UPI, had strong relationship from since 2004, means already to 22 years, 22, almost 22 years. So that's the very good, and also we'd like to be strengthened about this relationship, maybe forever. Also today, thank you very much. Today also, I'm invited, honorarily invited this stage, the lesson study consult in front of lesson study consortium. That's the very honorable, and also the very good chance to having the relationship with lesson study friends. But before going to my presentation, let me introduce finally the last week, as Sumaru Sensei introduced about me. Finally, I honorarily obtained this UPI award. But that's not due to the short period. When I was PhD student, that's 20 years back, I started the relationship between me and Indonesia. So let me introduce about as my bio that I picked up very shortly. Let me introduce by using the slideshow. As you know, this is a lesson study which is conducted in Bali. He is the lesson teacher. Also, I cannot count, but I joined like this lesson study many times. Also, the recently lesson study also grown up that lesson teachers tend to use about the ICT equipment. I'm very glad that lesson teachers and also classrooms and schools adapted the ICT equipment. Also, the efficiency has been grown up in Indonesia. Do you know Indonesia? Of course, you know. Indonesia is the very, very vibrant startup country. For example, the digital skill holders, students in Indonesian universities tends to study about programming, also ICT, also ICT skill, some kind of digital human resources are growing up. And also after the graduation of the university or diploma, they start the startup company in terms of the digital company. That's of course, States is the #1 in the world. Second is India. Third is Indonesia. So I believe that maybe Japan will be remained after the Indonesia in 10 years later. But anyway, this is a tendency of recent tendency of Indonesia from my perspective. But thank you very much for dating, because of maybe all of you that today's participants don't want to observe like this photo because of every time you observe like this, maybe in the reality. Can you see this photo? This is a, sorry, to show the slideshow. This is the sea coastal area of Bali. Also, this is a Kechak dance. Also, this is a lesson study, I don't know, the 10th ICLS. I attended. I was invited as a speaker in this ICLS. Recently, every year, ICLS invited me, so I'd like to also thank you. Must say thank you to all. Maybe today's presentation, you to some extent you already listened the today's presentation, but usually I speak today's presentation maybe within 15 minutes or within 20 minutes. So let me allow just detailing, I'd like to introduce my learning improvement for all. So yeah, also not only to attend the lesson study, but also I love Indonesia to observe like this rice field. This is in Minangkabau. This is Minangkabau. Also, I visited some of the place like this house, and sometimes we communicate with the children. That's also I love lovely things for me. We always enjoy with local people in Indonesia. Also tomorrow, I'd like to introduce myself about like this, my bio with Indonesia. Yeah, this is an this is me. And also my Japanese colleague. And also she was the student of Kyushu University, my friend. We visited Minangkabau, and we stayed a month for the field work. This was maybe the I was PhD student, so over 20 years back, I frequently visited to Indonesia. After that, maybe JSPS research fellow. After becoming the research fellow at the university, I also was visiting Jakarta, and also tomorrow I'd like to introduce about Aceh. Also, I visited Aceh, and also visited various types of places in Indonesia. So let me introduce about tomorrow, about like this kind of field diary, right? So let me go to today's main session. So I think maybe some of you already listened this content, just a learning improvement, but a minor change has been done. So let me introduce about this slide. So I must talk today and tomorrow and 27th on Saturday. So I believe that maybe the slideshow itself is one type of slides, but today, as much as possible, I'd like to say, and that's the next sequence I'd like to continue in tomorrow. Okay, the title is Learning Improvement for All toward a Sustainable Policy Practice Cooperation. The sense of my point is that maybe it's very difficult to find who cannot go to primary school or secondary school in Indonesia because of, as you know, the quantitative side. Maybe Indonesia reached to over 100% of gross attending rate in secondary and primary schools. On the other hand, maybe nowadays teachers in the schools, they must teach many students, not only in one kind of students. For example, I mainly researching in Bangladesh, but nowadays Bangladesh primary school, that a teacher must teach one teacher must teach over 55 or 60 students every day. If so, they also not only the students are consist of not only from the one ethnic group, but also learning, ethnic minorities or language minorities, also girls, the children from poverty people. So I think maybe to some extent, Indonesia also includes various types of students. So if I am a teacher in Indonesia, maybe I cannot teach immediately about very much student number. Also diversified people in a classroom. Yeah. So maybe we must face the learning improvement is the most important issue, one of the most important issue in the world. Why I added for all means that teaching and learning are not only for a teacher and students, but also many stakeholders, for example, community people, also as our researchers, also education office, or any people who living in Indonesia. Maybe they must be education related people, because the students must graduate after several years later, and then they must contribute to Indonesian society, not only the community, but also the nation. If so, school must be school must teach the students throughout all over the people. So, for example, in Japan, my school catchment area, even I must go to the road junction. And then we must keep safety for the students who every day must go to school. So the every people give a small fever to the pupil or students or school side. That's a key point of this theme. So let me introduce not only for Indonesia, but also other countries, for example, in Africa. Yeah, background of the presentation. Yeah, on the other hand, yes, of course, we now our innovation has been developed. For example, do you know the Society 5.0 is that we are welcoming new society, Society 5.0, is that this is showed by the Japanese government, that Society 1 were hunting and gathering, Society 2.0 agricultural society, Society 3.0 was industrial society. Maybe 1, 2, 3 are already, as I introduced you before, we know the green field and also some of factory I visited in Indonesia. Maybe so Indonesian society, also Japanese society experienced like this society 1, 2, 3. On the other hand, society 4.0 information. Of course, nowadays, we, the participants of today's seminar, maybe we successfully be the citizen of society 4.0. Because of, in reality, we connected to throughout the internet, and then you getting my lecture throughout the internet. Yeah, thank you very much. So, but maybe the place like, as I introduced you the 5 minutes before, maybe the Payakumbuh village that is the Java rural village, the green field, the people or who are living in that countryside, maybe they cannot connect to even internet. That means you can get the latest information throughout the internet. On the other hand, some of the rural people may not obtain the latest version of the information. Yeah. So now I believe that the gap is happening in your country. Japan also must have, but the government now trying to disseminate the digital equipment. Okay. Okay, but where our society go means that maybe new society, society 5.0, for example, Internet of the Things, IoT, that everything that connected to internet. Have you ever seen, just let me introduce the, This is the robot cleaner. Robot cleaner. For example, I command by the smartphone to this from Indonesia to Japan. He or she start the cleaning. Yeah. So just he can start to clean by this brush at my laboratory. So cleaning also maybe shopping, as you know, Amazon can provide, or nowadays maybe in Japan, today's dinner I can order by the smartphone. Also, or Grab or Uber, the taxi service, everything connected to internet. Also, AI. In Japan, the special topic of AI is that have you ever heard that maybe AI instead of human being, AI try to erase our job. Maybe I believe that the teacher can survive. Maybe AI is not our enemy, but the AI means the artificial intelligence can aim to be one of the member of our new society, AI. Also, big data. For example, now Japanese scholars can estimate how our next COVID-19 wave coming. That's also that we cross over AI and big data. They are very useful now. Try to estimate the COVID-19 patients. Maybe we will welcome, not welcome, but six wave supposed to come into Japan in the winter season. So AI, big data, already three of them coming to at least Japanese society. Also, robot is also the one of a tool of our society. So for example, this is a reality in Japan, that when I visit a hotel, the hotel reception, the some of robot are sitting, and then the robot say hello or welcome, and also robot come to at my side, and then I put my bag into robot. That's also nowadays it has been possible. So maybe near, very close to be Society 5.0. On the other hand, in some area, for example, in the countryside, they cannot enter to Society 5.0. Or that's also problematic situation, that such kind of gap. So how we solve the gap? Maybe later on, I'd like to propose you. Okay, this is the suggestion from the government. So yeah, the things is that Society 5.0 is demands us to be a good manipulator of AI, big data, robot. But, for example, if AI and big data and robot said, okay, now the COVID-19 is very difficult, has difficulty in outside. So you shouldn't go outside. If AI big data say to us, human being society, then we don't go outside. Maybe answer is no. We must say, yeah, okay, the advice is advice. We can go by ourselves. So the nowadays at the human being side, we must, of course, realize in individualization, optimization of the study. That's the one of good tool for the study. Also to master basic and minimum capacity and information literacy. Literacy is also, of course, necessary. For example, at least even Japanese people must study about English, language skill, also calculation skill, and also manipulation about PC, AI, something. That's also a kind of skill we need to master. But third one is the very good, for example, to be free from the dividing humanities course and science course in universities. So yeah, humanities and science are now divided, but we must be an active learners. Active learners means what? I believe that we as a human being tends to obey something about if AI say, if newspaper say, if someone say like this direction, maybe we tends to follow that direction. But before going to following, each individual must judge ourselves. Is that better way? Is that not so good? We need to judge by ourselves. Then the education must teach not only to pass the skill, digital skill to the next generation. Before passing the 21st skill to the next generation, maybe to foster good human being is maybe the mission of lesson study. So we have, we means SICE, so SICE means CICE, Center for the Study of International Cooperation in Education of Hiroshima University. It means I belong to this institute. We didn't ignore the dividing humanities and science. Science is important, but humanity is also very important. So creating active learners is one of the most important mission for the lesson study I'd like to define. Also, even go enter to the Society 5.0, or the value of creating active learners will be not declined. I'd like to propose you. Okay. But anyway, some countries, for example, Bangladesh, the one political party said that Bangladesh become the digital country. They say digital Bangladesh. Also utilizing ICTs in UK. I'd like to show you later by the photo. Also ICT integration in Philippines. So just let me introduce. This is an UK. Can you believe the photos are taken in 25 years back? Already they realized what a teacher teach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe less than 20 students. The science teacher taught were teaching to the small number of students, and then they used to use the PC equipment. Maybe that those PC are already old model in now there is century. On the other hand, for example, this is maybe referable to the lesson study. A teacher try to inform to students, please discuss each other about this topic. So teacher given the topic, and then students formulate discussion point, and then students afterward students research by using internet. Then they try to get the correct answer or their own answer by using ICT equipment. Yeah, so I believe that this is the one of the most important element for the education. Yeah, this is an the also science also technique subject in UK. All everything are connected to interactive whiteboard and connected with the internet. Yeah, so the teachers by using try to use the PC equipment, and also explanation were very clear. This is an and also that 25 years back in UK, they had plenty of PC equipment, maybe one PC per one student. Every student can touch the PC. That was advantages of UK in the 25 years back. This is an photos of Philippines. The teacher is the science teacher, but the science teacher this is an geographical isolated area. So the school cannot provide satisfied digital equipment, but of course this classroom must have the small TV, and also PC is the maybe 1, 2, 3 or 4 PCs in a class. So the students maybe must study 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 students can use only one PC. It's not so good environment in terms of ICT. That's the situation is that not human being are controlling the PC, the ICTs. So far, ICTs are controlling human being. So we shouldn't be like this situation. We must control the ICT. We must control digital equipment. Okay. So, but if so, maybe we must start from the discussion of quality issues of educational development as global trend. So maybe quality, ICT equipment or society 5.0 must exist for the human being. Not we don't have to follow, or we don't have to support the society 5.0. Firstly, so I believe that the educational purpose of educational development has not been changed. Yeah, quality. So the still we must have the important aims and purpose in terms of educational development. So quality. Quality issues of educational development as global trend. As I told you before, quantitative achievement in educational development has been reached ideal percentages in many countries due to EFA policies. On the other hand, the qualitative development began to raise quality issues in all over the world. For example, the last 10% issue, how we invite pupils or youth from disabled ethnic and language minority groups, poverty households, girls, and so on, and realize inclusive environment. And the second one, learning improvement issue. The consequence of educational development in developing countries has resulted decline of quality education. So the nowadays we are mainly facing to last 10% issue. Maybe it's very difficult to invite into school because of language, ethnicity are different than the majority, but it's also very much important. And also learning improvement issue is also very important. If we be left this kind of issues, maybe gap, discrimination, and unsustainability would be happening in our universe. So we must consider how gap from gap to equality, discrimination to inclusiveness, unsustainability to sustainability. So we must find the direction, those direction from those fragility or deprived status to the ideal status. Maybe that ensure the next SDG 4. Key point of the presentation is that how we establish and institutionalize sustainable system models for both learning improvement and inclusive education without enough budget. It's very sadly we must say and recognize that nowadays education have not so much enough budget. But I believe that lesson study is one not so use so much use the budget. Already the Hiroshima University must have the colleague, for example, the Indonesia, Malaysia, Bangladesh, some of India, some of countries which consist of 30 universities that we formulate Africa-Asia University Dialogue Network. This is officially recognized by the UNESCO or Unitwin program. So the universities are ready to help for the quality education to contribute to SDG 4. Also, UNESCO, JICA, United Nations University, like international organizations, also can contribute to SDG 4. Also, some of the big project for the learning improvement, they can also contribute to SDG 4. So not only school teachers, but also international organizations, international cooperation project, project-based, also university, and also each community, everything maybe must recognize that SDG 4 or try to contribute to the education quality in local people in developing countries. That is maybe one of the big issue in current international societies. Okay. We regularly, if we didn't have any COVID-19, almost every year we gathered at the this is maybe UPI だよな。UPI. We size has been invited, used to invited the many researchers from Africa and ASEAN countries, and then we enjoyed also exchange the information and exchange the knowledges among universities, include UPI. Yeah, this is a project name. We obtained the grant of United Nations University, also UNESCO activities, also the grant from the Japanese government. Anyway, for the Indonesian lesson study, we had been obtained plenty of budget. Yeah, the project itself has been started from 2015. Still now we are continuing. Yeah, the two keywords, inclusiveness. For example, disabled children, gender, ethnic, language, religious minorities, rural-urban gap, race, poor household, HIV, so many inclusiveness. We must inclusive such kind of deprived people. Also, learning improvement. So that means learning improvement for all. That's the main concept of our learning improvement project, which is conducted by the Africa-Asia University Dialogues. So means everyone can be contributed to this in between inclusiveness and learning improvement. Okay, this is a project, just a project flow. Of course, Indonesia is the big country for this project. And also from in 2015, when we started this project, already very rich resource Indonesia has in terms of lesson study. Yeah, so we started the lesson study projects in Indonesia. Let me introduce about the structure of lesson study projects in Indonesia, which is conducted by the Hiroshima University. After that, let me wind up today's session, and then tomorrow I'd like to start my speech from tomorrow. So, but just briefly, let me introduce about my our lesson study, not the detail, but just a structure of lesson study projects. So, yeah, already UPI, Indonesia University of Education, had the target schools in Bandung. Maybe according to the Arif Sensei's speech so far, only UPI could contribute over 500 or 600 secondary schools, not only Bandung, all over the Indonesia. Yeah, target schools, so many target schools, lesson study implementation. So, for example, we visited in Bali 2019. Also, I believe that UPI could contribute to many target schools by online. On the other hand, that UPI, I believe that UPI cannot control all over the target schools. So we transshift from UPI to Pakuan University, Unpak. I visited frequently Pakuan University, and we conducted lesson study implementation in Bogor. Afterward, also we visited Bali. So many. Okay. Then that is was the structure. So just today, I'd like to wind up, and the next week, tomorrow, I'd like to speech about sequence from this slides. So today, let me wind up. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much indeed, Sensei, for your presentation. And to all the participants, since this is a series, so I do believe that Sensei will continue his presentation or his materials tomorrow. And then only for this meeting, I mean, for this webinar, we would like to jump up with the second speaker, that is Arif Hidayat. I'm in double casting, so allow me to continue to please myself to start the presentation. And then participants, if you have some comments, questions, or inquiries regarding with the Sensei presentation, which even I have seen some slides, but still being inspired by your presentation, Sensei, if you have some comments, kindly put it in the chat room. And then allow me to continue the second part. The title, this is about classroom-based educational research method, a brief. Sensei, for your short information, in thesis or dissertation, usually in UPI, mostly we are doing mixed method, but the tendency of this mixed method is a treatment research. I mean, doing something to the classroom. So this presentation will introduce a another approach that is digging from the lesson study activities. Okay, this one. I would like to start the slide with the long history collaboration of teachers and researchers, means teachers at school and then researchers in the university. This is one of the picture when one of my colleagues in United States working together with teachers to do research in the classroom. There are two different ways in the shifted of the research between school and university. The first one, usually from university come to the school, is part of the way to apply knowledge from university research into the classroom. But right now, it has been shifted to be treat classroom practices as a load to mine new knowledge. So from this understanding, the collaboration of teachers and then researchers is quite essential because it can be built up into 3 different parts. There is the first one, mutual understanding of the situation in the classroom, rise to the alliance between schools and also with university researchers. And the second one is problems underlying. Some problems probably specifically happen in the classroom, some problems specifically happen in the universities, but many of them, it is common happens both in schools and universities. So in that case, school-university research collaboration can be done. And then number 3 is a diverse nature of that situation, diverse nature in school, diverse nature in the universities, which can be part of the collaboration of teachers and researchers. So back to my title of the presentation is about classroom-based educational research method. It means starting by collaboration of teachers and researchers. And then regarding classroom-based educational research method, I would like to highlight that originally it coming from school-university partnership and build lesson practices as collaborative research project originally. And then again, still in originally, usually at schools, some teachers doing joint research, and then teachers and researchers from universities are allied and use a common language. And this language might be not a complex in university, and it might be much better than we used in the classroom, and also have a process for pursuing a mutually beneficial relationship. Those things are parts of lesson study features. So lesson study features, which I do believe some of you already know or practices a lesson study in your classroom or in your institution with your colleagues, that we have another aspect that is the possibility for a classroom-based educational research method, in which part that is joint research, allied and use common language, pursuing a mutually beneficial relationship. So from that part, I would like to show one of the evidence. This is from Kiyomi Akita in the University of Tokyo 2008. She worked with transcribed recording of 8 hours over 3 years period of lesson study. This is a huge data, I think. And then she created, she applied or employed grounded theory approach to generate speech codings and categorize, from lesson study activities, creating transcribe and then generating codings, and then classifying into 5 conversation categories and 16 subcategories. The result of the research, she said that invited advisor from university in reflection session of lesson study, that's the case, provided multi-layer perspectives and also changed in how teachers respond the advisor's perspective. Of course, another knowledgeable person from university providing multi-layer perspective, but as a feedback, it also changed in how teachers respond to the advisor's perspective, and also it changed the teacher's mode narrative. When changing the teacher's mode narrative, it means changing the quality of the dialogues, and then changing of the quality of the dialogue means changing the quality of the competencies of the teachers. And this, this is evidence from Kiyomi Akita Sensei. She presented in the World 2011. So what is collaborative research means here? What I mean in this presentation is seeking specific classroom examples, but this is retrospectively reflective, but retrospective. Retrospective means seeking back and then detailing, finding some the features, and then providing recommendation for today and then tomorrow. And another one means creation school culture of teacher organization and learning from each other. Next slide, I would like to put methodological issue in lesson study cycle, plan, do, see. Meanwhile, in the plan, methodological issue is in the lesson plan. Meanwhile, in the do, methodological issue would put in the observation lessons. Meanwhile, in the reflection, I would like to highlight that methodological issue that can be digging up is about lesson analysis. And in the number one is about lesson plan. I would like to take an example. This is very good examples from an elementary school in Shinshiro. This is in Aichi. As a default, lesson plans are written by teacher in charge, I mean model teacher, and then discussed or examined by group of teachers. And I think this has happened in many lesson study activities around the world. And then what happened in the Shinshiro elementary school in Aichi, they changed the lesson plan, which usually devolved, become collaborative research. In what form? There is a developed multi-track lesson plans by 3 layers. One lesson plan developed by model teacher, one lesson plan developed by group of educational specialists, usually universities is part of inside, and another lesson plan developed by other teachers. So basically they have 3 tracks lesson plan. This is very amazing. I mean, what for those 3 lesson plans track? This is to anticipate a flow over multiple classes. This is an example from elementary school in Shinshiro. Another example in a plan as a methodological issue in the research is lesson plan that is developed in one of the elementary school in Shizuoka. This is one of the process they have when develop lesson plan. What's really interesting, they call this one as Zazekyu Yugyoan. What is this? This is a making lesson plan based on database students. It means this is database inside the inside the schools. So lesson plan was created based on studies of subject matters and a karute. It is writing reflective papers and database students inside writing reflective papers. So it doesn't have to be quantitative, but also qualitative, because in the karute, it consists of objective records of students, situation in the class, and then school life or outside classroom. And mostly this is a qualitative notes, not only quantitative notes. So providing lesson plan with the support of the karute or support of database of students, which is more qualitative, it gives teacher overview, a much better overview to each students with a greater depth. I mean, this is a very personalized lesson plan, but this personalized is strong, supported with the evidence, and this evidence is based on daily notes in karute or writing reflective papers. So year after year, the lesson plan developed in one of the elementary school in Shizuoka is not only a lesson plan, but this is a sketch the trends of student thinking. What really amazing is comparing lesson plan 3 years ago and lesson plans nowadays, I mean 2 years ago, and then they can see how trends of student thinking using several lines. 3 years ago, school more tendency on how to cultivate students' critical thinking. Meanwhile, afterwards, in the next 3 years, school tendency to emphasize on the students' creativity. So we can see the sketch of the trend students' thinking using several lines. And another one is they can find out how students act, visualize the relationship between individuals in the lesson plan, including how teachers' roles that deepens the job students' thought. I mean, this is what I call really advanced lesson plan to be part of the methodological issue in research. I would like to continue from those 2 samples in the Shizuoka and also in the Aichi elementary schools that lesson plan improved function through this collaborative research. I mean, the improve means develop great number of tools, not only a documentary work of teachers, but also this lesson plan become develop skills using board, magnet students name, imaging map, and including predicting spark lively discussion. So I would like to quote what Kosakai said with this advanced lesson plan, that one of the becoming research methodological issue that teachers build an increased sensitivity to the child's thought and the fact to the underlying them. And then another one issue is about open lesson or observation. While observation of the lesson, usually we will look back the classroom event, taking some observational notes, or somehow using visual recordings and then playing back visual recordings. And this is quite a common happens in the lesson study activities. Putting this one as research methodology, we can develop a different one, a much more advanced, such as there are new methods in post hoc analysis, emphasizing on recognizing, identifying, understanding students' inner world. During event in Nagoya University, they developed assigned role using post-its. Meanwhile, in the Tokyo area, they developed analysis classroom activities based on evidence, any artifact evidence, they would take it and then put after observation. With those two, this is old methods, this is new method introduced in some places. We can say that observation of the lessons, it can reveal progression of a class, atmosphere and the inclination, teacher's intent, and the relationship of utterance or dialogues by students. And also we can see action and expression in addition to utterance, prediction and questions about students' attitude and trends, how students' behavior during the lessons. And this is part of the research methodology, which is very classroom-based. And then another one is the reflection. Of course, reflection is an event, but methodological issue in this part of the presentation, what I want to say is about lesson analysis. And lesson analysis originated research level in university. Back to the history, I think started in Germany and then come to the Japan in 1947. Teaching process is sometimes transcribed verbal. Teachers denoted as double T, students as S, and then we creating some coding regarding with that. And then students' behavior is analyzed using a comprehensive records that edit utterance. Utterance can be dialogue, can be gestures, can be murmuring. This is what we call extracted automatics. In Japan, it is introduced by Shigematsu Sensei, 1947, 1961. And then in US, it is introduced by Flanders, 1972. And then what we have from this lesson analysis as the research methods, back to the history of the research method, it creates ethnomethodology. It supports qualitative research. It facilitates participants' observation research, cognitive science, even social and activity theory. So from that one, recently, some research method also developed according to the lesson analysis. The first one is by Nakano Sensei in 1991. He developed unifying subject-driven and observational perspective. Akita Sensei developing data collection and doing action research at the same time. And I believe this is quite appropriate if adopted by Indonesian teachers, especially if they have to do classroom action research. And then last one is by Kujiraoka Sensei. He developed case and episode research in every cycles of the lesson study. And then what can we say from those one is in the method is a classroom-based educational research method. One of the example is recording methods. I would like to give you two examples how recording method can be part of the classroom-based educational research. This is one of the classroom situation that is investigated by Gyobu Sensei in 2002. He observed classroom setting and recorded on video, noted conversation and silences based on the video analysis, including body reaction, sidelines of students, and the disposition of personal space. And I think this is a very famous research result. Another one is Kojima Sensei in 1997. The subject is about video, music lesson. He videotaped music lesson expression of students along observational records as materials for development the notation system. Notation system actually put in the musical expression, but the goal is to see students' expression process. This is a very hidden student expression process. How to analyze this? he developed videotape music lesson expression. I mean, this is two examples how recording method samples can be used as well. And I would like also to see from this lesson analysis activities and then samples, actually classroom activities happen in the class with students, both in class, in the schools or in the university. We can enlarge the view, we can enlarge the lens, not only becoming interactive between students, teachers, and then students with the media, but also we can regard as one qualitative understanding. So classroom activities is a qualitative understanding. And then second one is classroom activities is a part of the dynamic understanding. And even individualistic subject-driven understanding. And then finally, we can consider classroom activities as relationally integrated understanding. So with this part of the understanding, we can develop basic research that can be more theory from the finding of the classroom. And then I would like to jump up with the approach to research in the lesson study. We have two sides actually. If you do lesson study individually side, this is dramatic shift in the acquisition of change in the professional knowledge and skills for individual. But for the institutional or for the organizational side, it changed in the school cultures, it changed in the university culture. What can be inspiring from these two sides, we can creating from these two sides some of the methods such as empirical method, classroom observation, clinical interview, questionnaire, discussion with teachers after or before the lesson or after the lesson, ethno-methodology, because we do believe no one 100% exactly lesson in the world, and including for practical use of teachers by action research. And then with this one, so I would like to put the questions, how classroom-based practice through lesson study as educational method transform become? And then this is a brief from some countries who already adopted classroom-based practice through lesson study. In US, we have, I mean, we know about lesson study alliance group in Chicago. This is very strong alliance groups. And then they develop modeling research. Meanwhile, in Hong Kong, developed by Hong Kong Institute of Education, they develop variation theory. Meanwhile, in UK, I think this is very leading by Professor Pete Dudley of Cambridge University. It become mentoring system. Meanwhile, in Germany, it become classroom techniques as arts. Grushka 2018 is very famous for this one. And also in China, practice in lesson study as educational method becoming development and assessment in the textbooks in China. And then in Iran, it becomes reform of education and school culture. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, I do believe still progress. One of the result in Indonesia is as a part of schools and teachers development. So the conclusion I would like to put on the table in this webinar, there are two. The first one is classroom-based educational research method through lesson study actually originated from school university activities. And this provide one, criticism of research assumptions. In my own institution, there's always research assumption that students are homogeneous, everything is going to be okay. And then when we put in the lesson study with the partnership, this research assumption is in the criticism and then getting a much better picture of the research assumptions. Number two is a close inquiry into research methodology. Rather than acting and then seeing the difference, we can provide a much larger and detailed pictures how the results coming from the shift of the process. And the number three, it provides a dialogue involving pedagogy and other field of study, let's say science, social science, language, and any other field of study with pedagogy. Dialogue with pedagogy is a metacognitive aspects in the researchers. And then the second conclusion is a classroom-based educational research method through lesson study reveals, number one, discovery of pedagogy. I think this is very beautiful. discovering the pedagogy, and the second level is rediscovery of the pedagogy. And I think this is one the highest level by classroom-based educational research through activities of lesson study is a discovery of true nature of pedagogy. Maybe some of you have heard about local-based pedagogy, that is pedagogy developed by the local culture and then indigenous wisdom. True nature of pedagogy means true nature that is founded by a didactic situation in the classroom. So I think those are the conclusion of this presentation. Thank you so much. Yeah, back to the moderator. Who's the moderator? It is me, sir. Okay, Sensei, are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay, let's have a dialogue here. And oh, you're in the office. Yeah.
Yep.
And then we have some comments, but not questions. You can see in the chat room.
Yep.
So audience, if you have some comments, questions, you are most welcome. You can, you might open your mic, or you might raise hand or put in the chat room. Any comments? Click, click. No one? Somebody, please. Oh, Sensei, we have 245 audience here. Yeah. 274, including me and you. Okay, Bapak dan Ibu, allow me to speak into bahasa, Sensei. Bapak dan Ibu, adik-adik mahasiswa, barangkali ada yang ingin ditanyakan terkait dengan presentasi tadi di dua pembicara. Silahkan, bisa di ruang chat dalam bahasa Indonesia, saya terjemahkan dalam bahasa Inggris. Bisa langsung dalam bahasa Inggris, atau mau langsung saja angkat tangan gitu. Oke, kalau tidak ada, maybe I will ask comments from the Sumar Sensei. Pak Sumar masih di sini, Pak?
Kenapa sih? Tadi saya ke kampus.
Bu Bastiana, silahkan. There is a question, Sensei, but this is a direct message, so it only appeared on me. Good day, Mr. Gus. Good day, Mr. Introduce, I am Anang Suryana from Indonesia. What you have delivered about IoT, Internet of Things, is very interesting. And then, well, actually, I found this in the textbooks in high school, such as to measure temperature, to measure the temperature of the body using thermometer. But in IoT, measuring the temperature is using microcontroller, such as LM35 or the HD11. So do you think this is reliable if we change the measurement in the classroom setting? I think this is in the science classroom, Sensei. Measuring temperature of an object using analog temperatures, but changed by the microcontroller. Sensei, please.
Thank you very much. So just I believe that also, for example, when I was until PhD students, our classroom had only a blackboard. Still, some of school uses the blackboard, only a blackboard. And then skillful teacher, if the skillful teacher can teach very well by one joke and talk. So that's the very good, he had a very good skill. And also Japan is quite better country in terms of PISA. PISA, as you know, the common examination test into the several countries, developed OECD countries. So Japan is still now, Japan is the top class in the PISA countries, the PISA acceptor countries. Those results, outcomes came from the chalk and talk, at least in Japan. So our setting, if we changed our setting, then I don't know how it's efficient, but at least chalk and talk, that is okay. On the other hand, maybe the logically, if we understand logically, the for example, one private school, tuition place, they conducted the science experimentation even in the private school in Japan. The efficiently the students obtained better outcome from the experimentation. So now the people's has been changing about the maybe arrangement, equipment arrangement should be changed in Japan. So blackboard changed into the whiteboard. But the teacher, for example, I am to some extent older teacher, and then I am an expert of chalk and talk. But I cannot manipulate any whiteboard, PC, ICT, IoT. I don't know. So I become bad teacher. That's the point. So if I can study still now, quite old teacher, classic study teacher, I am an expert of chalk and talk, but I can respond to the new equipment, new technology, Internet of the Things. So the teacher must study every day about to obtain the new knowledge about how to manipulate the new text, new things. So that's the point. Maybe we need to use new equipments. So gradually we must transform ourselves. So teacher must reform by ourselves, right? So of course, until 2 years back, I never touched this Zoom. But nowadays, almost every day I try to use the Zoom. That's maybe same thing. Yeah. So the manipulation is of the new technology is very much important. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sensei. There are another 2 questions, and then both of them are direct message. I don't understand why they put in the direct message. Actually, they can put it for everyone. But maybe this is because in the question in the Bahasa Indonesia, there are 2 questions, one for you and then one for me. And then one question for you, I think. He said that regarding about Society 5.0, do you think if Society 5.0 is implemented or applied in Indonesia, so which means we have to make a dramatic or extreme changes in many aspects? How do you think? Yeah.
I think maybe not dramatically, because of, for example, Grab or Uber, some of applications are this is very good, convenient. After that, we have been accepted gradually about those innovation, include Zoom, include smartphone, also some of computer technology. So each impact are not bigger, maybe smaller, because of the programming world are day by day developed and growing up. So every day, maybe in behind of our smartphone, for example, Gmail, email, Hotmail, any applications. In behind of that, maybe the application providers reform, the small reform they conduct every day. So the merit we every day getting, and every day we getting the convenient. But what I wanted to propose you that maybe smartphone holders, also PC holders, latest version of ICT equipment holders can get the merit. On the other hand, for example, the Payakumbu village, as I introduced you before, that people who are living in that Minangkabau, for example, 25 years back, already the travel company gave me the ticket, which is printed through the PC. But when I visited Payakumbu village, in Minangkabau, then I visited one travel company. I'd like to buy a ticket from tomorrow. Then he pick up the phone, not a smartphone, just a classic style phone. Hello, I'm a travel company, and just I'd like to check the whether the 2 seats are available or not. And then and then he pick the paper and he started handwriting the ticket, air ticket. And then he gave me and I paid. So maybe still now, even now, he is published by handover or by the handwriting. So if we get every day the IoT, and ICT technology, maybe the gap between us and the Minangkabau people, maybe gap is quite now mucher than before. So that's the point. We shouldn't ignore that Minangkabau people. So education must make the direction, those gaps must be declined. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sensei, for the response. And the second question is to the Mr. Arif. Yeah, this person said that usually when we do research in Indonesia, we will give some treatment to the classroom or to the students, and then we will measure the pre-test and then post-test, and then seeking the change through the pre-test and then post-test, and then reporting to the statistics such as normalized gain or effect size. How do you think this one regarding with the classroom-based educational research methods? Yeah, thank you for the question. This is very sharp. Basically, research is reporting what was happened in a detail. More detail you're reporting, I do believe the quality of research is much better. Seeking the change between post-test and then pre-test is not wrong, which I really support. Unfortunately, we somehow missed what happened in between pre and post. I mean, in between pre and post, it means the evidence, the artifacts from the lessons, the artifact from the students' learning. Quantitatively, you can check from the student worksheet and then seeking how students answer in qualitative. But more detail, if you record this video lesson or this activities and then transcribe it and then doing interview with the students or some selected students or to the teachers, you can dig much bigger understanding, much bigger picture, and it can be a support to avoid claimed in the research. Some research saying about report, some research saying about claimed. And then claim in the research actually is not research, it is part of the pseudo research. So I hope this answer is not enough. So I mean, you might seeking a different perspective, but I would like to emphasize that recording the research process not by checklist list, but also by seeking the video, the transcript, and then seeking the analysis of each dialogue, I believe will enhance and much more stronger for your pre-post test analysis through the statistics. Yeah, thank you for the questions. And then back to the moderator. Yeah, double casting, it's me. Sumar Sensei, Pak Sumar ada di sini. Are you with us, Pak Sumar?
Yes, Pak Arif.
Yeah. Would you like to spend your time as a discussion to share with the participants about today's webinar, Pak Sumar? You are most welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Arif. So today's webinar is very, very important for us, especially for learning improvement. Yeah, so we learn experience from Kusakabe Sensei from Hiroshima, and he spent long time to observe the research in Indonesia, observe the lesson, and he also observe also the community. So probably Professor Kusakabe has a lot of Indonesian experience compared to me, yeah, because he traveled a lot from Aceh to from west to east, yeah, until to Bali, and she observed how the learning improvement in Indonesia, yeah, and we almost every year invite Professor Kusakabe as a keynote speaker in International Conference of Lesson Study held by Indonesia Association of Lesson Study. So I appreciate, I learn a lot. Yeah. So, and Pak Arif also exploring many the classroom research in Japan, not only from one university, from different universities. Yeah. From Tokyo, Hiroshima, Nagoya, and Hijoka, and so on. So that's will, encourage us to do the, research lesson at school, and also the school quality, yeah, can be, improved, yeah, by collaborating universities and school. Arif mentioned about the super, yeah, school university partnership. I think that's one of the strategy for learning improvement in Indonesia. Yeah, of course, Indonesia is, need to, work hard, to catch up the learning quality. Yeah, as mentioned by Professor Kusakabe, that Japan PISA is always on the top. Yeah, compared to us, Indonesia is always, only. I think the third ranks from the back. Yeah, so we need to work hard. And also I learned that from Professor Kusakabe that as a teacher we need to learn, yeah, not only the subject but also everything technology. So teacher always update, yeah, always updating the knowledge, skills, yeah, to catch up the science and technology development in the world. Yeah. Okay, I think that's all, Arif. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Sumar, for your comment as a discussion in this webinar. Audience, if you see on the screen, it's also live on YouTube. Just to anticipate whether you want to look back at this webinar. And the second one is the committee provide absenteeism link. This is very useful for the committee to send you the certificate of attendance. In case you need it, it will be sent through the email. And we have Professor Zulkardi from Unsri who already raised his hand. Professor Zul, you're most welcome, please.
Okay, thank you, Professor Arif. Hello, Professor Tajia Kusakabe. Haji Mamachite, yeah, nice to meet you. I'm in University of Sriwijaya, including in this series webinar in collaboration with Pak Arif and friends. We are really appreciate with your inspirative presentation, especially about how to improve the learning and improve the teacher quality in the society, next society. Well, in Indonesia now still in society 4.0. For your information, Professor Ratu Ilma, also from my university, went to Japan last 3 years, I think, with Professor Sato, and learned about lesson study about a month. And then she and myself now is default and develop the lesson study center. Perhaps in the next 2000 next year, it will be launching the PISA Study Center in the University of Sriwijaya in collaboration with Pak Arif SAS from UPI. Well, I think that's my appreciation for you. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate about it. Thank you, Pak Arif.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Zul. Sensei, if you have some comments, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Zuru Kardi. I also appreciate maybe Indonesia try to conduct the PISA research. Also, for NIER, National Institute of Education and Policy in Japan. That's the institute under the Ministry of Education in Japan. The institute also try to study very well about PISA study. So I believe that also lesson study is in Japan. The lesson study is created in Japan. So those study is belonging to the Japanese one of the Japanese expertise. So I'd like to make some relationship with if the launch it launches in near future, then I'd like to visit, or I'd like to have some collaboration with Hiroshima University. So if possible, please keep in touch. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Kusakabe. About PISA, we also doing a lot of research about PISA. Also, our PhD student here, we also have a PhD program in mathematics education, and most of the research about realistic mathematics education and also about PISA, and all of them using lesson study for learning community. So thank you very much for collaboration. I'm really glad, and Professor Ratu Ilma also listening. Then we can follow up about this. Thank you very much. Again.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Zul, for your question and comments. And is there any other question or comments, or somebody want to raise his hand, or if not, still? Okay, so if no one, I think we come to the end of today webinar. On behalf of the committee, well, this is a partnership, Sensei, UPI as the main institution, partnership with ALSI, with Sriwijaya University, and of course with the SAIS of the Hiroshima University. We would like to say thank you very much indeed, Sensei, for your contribution, and also all participants. I believe some of them from Indonesia, Malaysia, and some of the students in Japan. And then we would like to see you again in tomorrow. And then tomorrow we have two speakers. The first one, definitely it is you. The second one is the Professor Ratu from Sriwijaya University. And then truly, I'm seeking the continuous story from your slide for the learning improvement for all. So on behalf of the committee and also all the our students who are working hard to make this webinar happen, we would like to say thank you again, and then hope to see you tomorrow. And then I would like to close by saying Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And then goodbye.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Materials will be sent through email according with the certificate at most a week after the webinars. Yeah.